Fighters, talking to you from somewhere in Massachusetts, while Double RPG and what are you calling yourself now?
Jessica.
If you want to be called Jessica.
Jessica
No.
Ninja.
No, it's Visible Ninja.
Yeah. And we're here continuing playing Suikoden 3. We, I forget which story. Thomas?
Thomas, yes. And
Yeah, we're going to finish his story, I believe.
We're finishing the first chapter of his story. He only has 2 chapters, but we're just finishing the first chapter, and then we'll get on with the second chapter of Chris after that. Which, the rest of Thomas's first chapter shouldn't take long to finish up. But, yeah, in between episodes, I ended up recruiting some people to this castle, and you can see that the castle has undergone some transformation just a bit. There are some new shops that are available that we can use, or new facilities that we can use to either shop or upgrade our characters with their weapons and armor and that kind of stuff. But yeah, we've actually been getting a lot more characters to be to come within this place. But yeah, spend a lot of my time in between episodes doing just that, and so that way, with the other characters who I play as, we won't even have to try to recruit them. You know, just kind of minimize the need for them to recruit many characters while they're still not officially the leaders of the castle at this time.
Mm-hmm.
For the people not who came in or don't remember or come in now, I want to ask, how again are you capturing this footage? Because it's pretty neat.
I am capturing with I'm using my Elgato, but the thing is, I have my PS2 Slim. I have an HDMI input. Well, I basically connect to the PS2's main AV input or whatever, but at the end of the cable is an HDMI input. So I put it through the M Classic dongle, so that way you can actually see a lot better clarity and crispness of the picture. So it's like you're actually looking at it in 4K from a 720p standard, if that makes sense. So that's why a lot of what you see in the game actually looks a lot more clear and less grainy and less fuzzy, and whatnot. It's really good for retro games. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, notice.
Whether you play from with PS2, Xbox, GameCube, or any other system below that, or I would probably say even PS3 and 360, and even Wii and the Wii U. That's definitely a good device to have to boost the visual appeal a little bit.
Mm.
So, yeah, how are you guys doing this week, by the way?
Well, recovering from an illness, but trying to recover anyway.
That sucks.
Yeah, I'm coming out the other side of it, so thankfully I'm all right. But otherwise, just played a lot of games, a lot of the MVC collection, a lot of Skyrim too. Been getting kind of back into that, so still thieving and stealing. And now I can one-shot guards from behind if I'm using a dagger, which is great.
Does that make Jerry proud, though, since he's the Skyrim player of our group?
Yes.
Well, you need to get your sneak up to 50, and then then daggers do 16 times damage to people from behind.
I forgot if it was Wheels or Double RU I was showing, where like I have my assassin character do just that. You see this super strong guy? I have a dagger though. What do you mean? It's to kill.
Well, yeah, because you just like.
I think I have some other like thing that turns the 16 into 31 times.
Huh.
Which makes it even just like basically like, yeah, you're getting dropped. It doesn't matter if you're a Draugr, Death Lord, or whatever. If you don't see me coming, you're getting dropped.
And of course, my favorite one is just to keep killing guards who come into a certain part of the town and just have people just keep coming in and looking at the bodies and then just keep piling them up. Who is that? Must have been a mosquito.
By the way,
yep.
I was also going to say, since I've been playing this game on my PS2, I've been using the Retro Fighters Defender controller, which you can actually play on PS3, PS2, or PS1. It's basically a wireless, wireless Bluetooth controller. But the thing is that I've been having, if you notice in previous episodes where I've been having trouble going up left or forward and kind of left with the thumbstick, apparently with third-party controllers, it doesn't register that movement. You have to use the first-party PlayStation controller to actually get that movement to be, a thing within this game. Otherwise, you just see me just kind of stop in place whenever I try to...
Dang. It's just like Mario freaking out at the edge of a plant like last night.
Yes.
Yahoo!
Oh, the ecstasy. That's
what who's we can this?
Shizu. She just came out of nowhere, and she's actually an elevator mechanic.
Elevator?
Yep. Our castle also has an elevator. Trained under Adlai, the great inventor of the South. So I'm not sure whether or not she's referring to the character, the doctor, scientist, whatever, from Suikoden 2, who worked on the elevator, or from the first game where they actually made the elevator accessible inside our castle. But she's basically one of the pupils for that 108 Star of Destiny from one of the previous 2 games.
It says the Suikoden 2 Adlai is the one she's referencing.
Okay, so the doctor who where you had to throw the wind crystal at his face to get him to notice you, and then that's how you're able to recruit him. Yeah, I remember that.
No, well, at least you're not getting thrown into a book like Ganon did that one time. Oh. No, not into the book.
You mean? I was about to say 1 time. Don't you mean 2 times? Since that happened twice, one between both games. It did,
didn't it?
Yes.
I was like, yeah, that's right. It did, didn't it?
But yes, this character Shizu, she actually joins Thomas's story automatically. But if you don't play any of Thomas's stories, or any of his chapters in this game, then you will just see that she just joined his castle out of impulse, without any context as to how she joined. But yeah, this is basically how she becomes a part of your castle in this game. Just this one scene alone.
By the way, 2 things. 1, LPH says, hey.
Hey, LPH.
Hey.
Number 2, how is Thomas a Tenkai star, but not this game's main character thing? Kind of throws me off. Like the other ones.
I know. That's why I'm trying to figure.
Tenkai supposed to be the main?
Yeah, it's supposed to be the leader of every Suikoden game, basically the leader of the rebel army or whatever. But yeah, I don't know why either Konami or Yoshitaka Murayama decided to have that not be the case in this game. Because usually when it comes to the Tenkai star in every Suikoden game, they would always be the one to lead the army all the way through, from beginning to end. And if you notice that a certain seer or sage who acts as the guiding compass for the Tenkai star, she is actually not present. So I'm thinking that might be one of the reasons as to why that the Tenkai star is not the main leader in this game. Or basically Konami just wanted to try and branch out a little bit, where they have 3 other characters who are different stars within the 108 Stars of Destiny to actually become the Flame Champion and be the one who will lead the army to victory, I guess. But yeah, I don't think Konami or Murayama, whenever he was alive, ever offered an explanation as to why, they switched up the formula for this game. I mean,
Yeah.
if anybody knows, they're free to leave a comment in the comments section. But I don't really know of anything. But yeah, it is a very interesting conundrum when you think about it.
Something about like, yeah, they're like, oh, because we have Hugo, Chris, and Ghetto, we don't want to make the so I don't know exactly. Just, you know way more about Suikoden.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the Hugo, Chris, and Ghetto thing.
I'd have to do a little bit more research on that and see if they actually offer an explanation as to why they decided to do that for Suikoden 3. But if I do have an answer, I'll let you all know by the next episode. Or if either you, Jerry, or Metal want to look at it and see if there's a reason why, then feel free to go ahead.
Homework. Okie dokie.
Like I said, if you want to, but if not, then that's fine. I'm not forcing you to.
I gotcha. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm researching it just because I'm curious. Because I'm like, and all I get is like, well, he owns the castle, but he doesn't have a true rune either. And I'm like, okay. And I remember that in the first two Suikodens about true runes.
Yes, and even in 4 and 5. Yeah, even in 4 and 5, the main character is supposed to have a true rune. Well, the first game and the fourth game, the main character, and the third game, no, the first and fourth game, the Tenkai Star always has a true rune. But you gotta remember, in Suikoden 2, both the Bright Shield rune and the Black Sword rune, they were each one half of a true rune. Basically the rune of beginning. So both Rio, the main character from 2, and Joey Atreides, each had their own rune, where Rio had the Bright Shield and Joey had the Black Sword. But again, they were just... each was one half of a true rune, so... Now, in Suikoden 5, the true rune that the main character has in that game, or the rune that the main character has in the game, is actually one of the children of the Sun rune, which is the true rune that's basically front and center of the game, but the main character does not take possession of it at all. It actually takes possession of one of the children runes of that true rune. But I think Konami stated that the Dawn rune, which the main character has in 5, is not specifically a true rune at all. You know, out of all the Suikoden games and the mainline games, they said that there are 27 true runes, but they haven't really showcased, like, the last third of the true runes or what true runes are left. Only 18 are known in the mainline games at this time.
Mm.
Yeah, I see what you did there, Bad Gamer. And, yo, Muteki.
Yo, Muteki!
I just saw what he wrote. Yeah. Jerry's favorite RPG.
Why you say Jerry? That's my game! Suikoden 2! I played that for you all because it's my favorite RPG ever! You know, it's really funny that you and I, Jerry, are getting a remastered collection of each of our favorite RPGs ever made.
I know, right?
That is funny how that works now. And yet I'll never get my remaster of Lord of the Rings Third Age.
Well, that's a licensing hell, I'm sure.
Yeah, because it was made during EA's license, and yada yada, licensing, yada yada.
Yeah, if anything,
that's a good question to all three of us. But yeah,
I was gonna say if you want a remaster of Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, then I'm pretty sure that's something that both EA and WB Games would have to work out together in order for that to become a reality.
Yeah, it is. Which, hey, you know, miracles can happen.
Yeah, I saw what LPH's question was asking. Our most hated RPG? Well, I can only think of a couple. And one of them comes from your favorite series, Jerry, but it's not one of the 2 mainline games.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that Dragon Song, isn't it?
Oh god, Dragon Song.
Yeah, Dragon Song sucks.
It sucks ass through a straw, and that's not even funny. If you played it like I have, you will hate it for its archaic gameplay elements. And here's pretty much the reason why I hate that game. And it's one reason only. When your character has the ability to walk and run in the game, but here's the thing though, when you're running, your characters will deplete their MP. Mm-hmm. And when you get down to a quarter of their MP left, you can't run anymore until you heal them up at an Althea statue. So, if you're at 1/4 of magic points for all the characters that are in your party, you're pretty much walking the entire time.
Gamer said Yakuza 7 and 8, Kappa. Because I love 7, but 7 was woefully imbalanced. That was kind of my problem with it. But it's not. In terms of worst though, man, I usually drop games I don't like, so I don't play through them enough to build up the hate when I already don't like it.
Uh-huh.
I try.
I gotcha.
How about you, Metal? Yeah. Is there any ones that you're like, eh?
There's no JRPGs that I guess hate. So that's a bit harder one for me. Because at worst, to me, JRPGs are just boring, and even then, you know, they still serve their purpose. So
I get you.
So I guess you could say I don't have any like ones I hate, just like ones that I'm like, I'll probably never touch this ever again. So
yeah, that's understandable. So yeah, just so you know, we're inside this cave right here. It is actually located underneath the castle, so it's like a secret cave you can go into. But it doesn't really have any purpose except for this part of Thomas's story, because they're apparently looking for one of their comrades who ended up gone missing about halfway in through the chapter, inexplicably. But Jerry, any RPGs, whether they be Japanese or Western RPGs, that you hate?
I'm trying to think. I mentioned earlier.
I was gonna say another one that I can think of. Inuyasha: The Secret of the Cursed Mask on the PS2.
Okay, I've never played that one. Like I'm aware of it. The only Inuyasha game, it was like a fighting game on the PS2. That's the only Inuyasha game I've ever played.
Feudal combat. I know what you mean.
Yeah, I know that there were RPGs, but I've never played them. So.
Yeah, there were two of them. One on the PS2 and the other on the DS. The DS, I know it got really lambasted by a lot of people because it was made by a Western developer, and it seemed like it didn't really fit well within the lore behind the game or behind the series. Or I don't know. I have to look a bit more in depth with that. But anyway, when I'm talking about Inuyasha's Secret of the Cursed Mask, it was just so cookie cutter when it came to its story, its gameplay, and this was the last game that was actually done by the team who was formerly known as Quintet. So they were the same people who did the ActRaiser games as well as Illusion of Gaia, Soul Blazer, and even Terra Nigma. And it was like, how could they go? How they could go out with a whimper like that of a game? You figure with someone of their caliber, they would actually do put out a really prolific product. But again, anime video games, they're just like any cartoon or TV-based video game where they aren't given enough time and quality to make a really decent game out of them.
Yeah, not usually.
Mm-hmm. But unless if you're Dragon Ball or in some ways One Piece and Naruto and possibly Bleach, then you'll actually get a decent experience out of them.
With Bleach, not enough people know about them. That's the sad thing. Because they are out there, but not enough people know about them outside of like Western fandom. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Especially the RPGs and some of the other fighting games that have actually been around for a while, but people don't know about.
But other than that, I really don't know any other type of RPG that I know off the top of my head that I really despise. And if there is, I would definitely bring that up to you guys, one way or the other. I guess I could say one that I don't despise, but it's not my cup. But they're not my cup of tea. Is any Shin Megami Tensei game?
Yeah, well, even taking the story aside, the sheer difficulty and brutality of how hard it's woof.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it feels like you're torturing yourself instead of playing a game.
Right.
Woof.
And with their themes of Gnosticism being way too overplayed, it's like they're constantly shoving that theme down our throats with every single game that comes out of that series.
It's like, I feel like sending a letter. Ha ha! Your heresy was debunked by the Council of Palermo.
P.S. Do you guys like Percocet?
Percocet. I love Percocet. Or at least, you know,
yes,
so it goes.
Gamer. Why is Fairy Tail a JRPG when it should be an action game? Oh, at least an action RPG, yeah. Huh, that makes no sense.
Good question.
All right, we are officially done with Chapter 1 on Thomas.
Nice.
Yes. And then here we get a little bio from his first chapter, in case if you guys are interested in looking at it, if you play it. But anyway, let's go ahead and save our progress here before we go on to Chapter 2 on Chris, because there is a certain instance that happens in Chapter 2 where you have to answer something when a character prompts you to, and then you can actually get into a one-on-one duel based on that prompt. But if you play any other character, if you play like Hugo's second chapter before Chris's second chapter, then that completely nullifies that chance for you to do that one-on-one duel between herself and Lucia of the Correa tribe. And speaking of Atlas games, our boy Jerry here, you've had a chance to try out Metaphor Re-Phantasmo, right?
Re-Phantasio, yeah.
Re-Phantasio.
I played that for quite a bit. That demo's long. I still haven't finished it. But yeah, I'm glad you bring that up because I wanted to talk about it because That game seems like it's trying to be Shin Megami, Persona, Berserk, and Tales of, like all together. Tales series, and it's kind of jarring. Like the way the story is being told, it seems like they're trying to be jarring. So maybe it just needs to be an acquired taste type of thing, where you keep playing like, oh, but like right now, I'm like, I think they're trying to go for something, but it's kind of like you gotta want to hook me to want to do that, and it's kind of like not really, you know. Like I like the gameplay, but yeah, I kind of want to buy it, but not full price. It's one of those, you know.
Mm-hmm. And you said that the art style in the game is really not that consistent.
Yeah, because it's trying to like mash a bunch of things like that together. Yeah, it's jarring. Like it's like, man, this looks like Lodos over here. This looks like Berserk over here. This looks like Tales of over here. This looks like Persona over here. What is it? You know,
Muteki, you're not wrong in you saying that game needs to come out at a later month, because guess what comes out? Guess what comes out on October?
The same day.
Yeah, the same day as Metaphor. And it's one game that everybody has been anticipating ever since it was first announced last year.
Yep, he knows. Yep, Sparking, exactly.
Yeah, Sparking Zero.
Oh, Muteki even said like I said, drop the price. Or move it to another month, yeah, like, because going the same day at that full price with Sparking Zero there, you know?
Well, of course. I mean, it is a recipe for disaster upon arrival. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Now, you said when you played it that the game doesn't seem like it's one of those games that doesn't seem like it comes off being more along the lines of like Game of the Year material or whatnot. Am I right? Or does it?
Say what?
When you're talking about Metaphor,
yeah,
you said that even though you played the game, it doesn't seem like it's one of those games that's Game of the Year material.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah. Some people it's gonna be, but nah. Nah.
Nah, you're not one of those folk.
I don't think so. LPH said, yeah, they're gonna get rocked by the dragon. And Muteki even said it's gonna sell, but it's not gonna get huge sales because Sparking's, yeah.
Right. Dragon Ball is still really popular around the world, even after Toriyama's passing.
You know what, Muteki? I actually would want to see that. He said in a Game of the Year, it's like, no, that's Astrobot. Yeah? That has a better, to me, that's a better candidate.
Yeah, there are only 3 games I consider to be candidate for Game of the Year. One of them is obviously Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The other is Black Myth Wukong, and the third one is, of course, Astrobot. But other than that, I can't really think of anything else that contends for Game of the Year material, at least for this year. But hey, if, well, we said to ourselves, if Sparking Zero actually wins Game of the Year, I mean, not Game of, yeah, but Fighting Game of the Year at the Game Awards, then that'd be awesome, but realistically...
That would be.
Realistically, it's probably going to be given to Tekken 8.
You know what? I was going to laugh my ass off. If they still have Concord nominated for some categories.
Oh, God.
that would be hilarious. You know, the game that didn't even last 2 weeks and that Sony thought was going to be their Overwatch killer and on the same level as Star Wars in terms of marketability. Yeah. How's that 400 million going there, Sony?
Yeah.
Not to mention the cost to buy Firewalk Studios.
Sony, Man, they have pissed off a lot of people in these recent times. That and Ubisoft, too. Ubisoft is another can of worms, but they're in deep shit right now, too. And it's not even funny. Because guess what got delayed till February?
Ah, yes, Ass Creed. Schmamos.
Yep. Got pushed back to February 14th of 2025.
Yeah, Valentine's Day, that's the funniest thing. Especially given the rumors now that Ubisoft's scrambling to either severely reduce or completely remove Yasuke from the game because of the backlash.
Mm-hmm.
Which is going to be funny if they do wind up doing that. Either like making him going from like co-protagonist to like mentor that dies, to possibly possibly just tearing his ass out altogether. It's going to be interesting, but yeah, but I will give this to Ubisoft. They did give unrestricted refunds to everybody that pre-ordered it. So, you know, they are doing that at least, which is also leading people to the, yeah, it's going to get so badly overhauled that legally they need to pull pre-orders.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah, it's one of those
conundrums.
Yeah, sadly.
But seriously, though, it's just, like, whatever's going on at Ubisoft is just it's not working for them right now. And if anything, it's probably at this point where we should say that Yves Guillemot needs to resign his position as president and CEO of Ubisoft.
He really does at this point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, how could you go from having one game that came out like around the beginning of this year, which actually turned out to be decent and wasn't a big budget game, instead it was more like a smaller scale, like AA type of experience with that Prince of Persia game, and then all of a sudden you have a quadruple A game and a Star Wars game that came out within that same year, and now they are completely forgotten or just completely lambasted for being rushed out to the market. Oh, Nerd Revenge says something. They ask if they've been here before. I feel they feel like they have.
Possible.
Yes, yeah.
I was about to say, didn't you ask me what my favorite Suikoden game was, nerd?
I think they also asked if you were playing on real hardware, which you explained earlier. Yes, and how you do it.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you mean Raving Rabbits on the Switch, Muteki. No, Raving Rabbits. Yes. Well, the Raving Rabbits games on the Wii were actually fun, but
early Raving Rabbits were like okay minigame collections, but then they kind of got played out.
Mm-hmm. And even Rabbids Go Home was a fun game on the Wii. Mm. But yeah,
or that one like, where you get to beat the shit out of one inside your Wiimote.
Oh yes. You could beat the shit out of it.
Like literally, like
yeah, like literally to death, electrocute him, or even try to tickle him.
Now, only a sick person would try to tickle. Kill? I mean, yeah, every normal person would do that.
Oh, hey, Starchild, he says...
to a rabbit.
Starchild says Assassin's Creed has been washed for a long time. Yeah, has it?
That's true.
It really has. So, yeah.
Oh, Nerd Revenge says it's nighttime, so the brain doesn't work the best, so guess his brain's getting shut off for the day where he's at. So yeah, if they had that female character who's the ninja in Assassin's Creed Shadows be the sole protagonist, then I don't think anybody would raise a stink about it.
Probably not.
But I'll tell you one game that I'm actually very fearful for when it comes out next year, and that was the recently announced Ghost of Yotei.
Yo. Are you full of tay?
Don't worry about it.
I know why. I know why. I'm just making jokes. I know the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I know, and some people were also taking issue with Sucker Punch and stuff, not wanting to continue, Jin's story, instead wanting to tell a different one. Because people really like the character of Jin. Putting, not putting any of the Id Paul stuff into it, yeah. So that was, I know, one reason why some people are a little not too happy, and then there's, all the controversy, which I will let others talk about, because I don't want to be cancelled.
No, we're not going to delve into the controversy. Not on this stream.
Oh, yeah, sounds like a better plan.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just better to leave things unsaid and just let people actually research it to themselves,
When they're... What?
But it wasn't all bad news this week. We actually had some good news, which Jerry can even tell you. He marked out on Tuesday.
Ooh. That's right, he did. Because of the City of the Wolves.
Oh my goodness, yes. Oh my goodness, my favorite fighting game.
Yeah, two certain characters are joining it next year, and surprisingly, one of them is not Ryu. So, that's always good.
Well,
it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
I was going to say, I was referring to the State of Play, which you reacted, where you marked out to 2 certain games in a remaster collection coming out next year.
You mean the fact that my favorite RPGs ever are getting remastered?
Yes.
Lunar 1 and 2? Although, Lunar 2 a little more recent, but, still.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have that much nostalgia for 2, but it's definitely become one of your favorites just from looking at it and watching me play it, right?
Yeah. Also, back then both games were there. I just, for some reason, I want to say I probably played a little bit of it growing up. I definitely played Silver Star.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
but that's right.
That Muteki, that I'm very happy about, because of consistency's sake. Since about a few of the voice actors, whoever they've voiced, whenever they voice their characters in the first game, will reprise their roles for the second game. So that makes it all good. But yeah, just when I didn't watch Jerry's reaction when he was streaming it, but I did watch the State of Play, and when I saw the announcement of those games, or when they showed the games being unveiled during the State of Play, I literally almost bawled. I was for certain that we were never ever going to see those games come back, especially the second one, which never even got a re-release for. After the its release on the PS1, yeah.
It's always been the first one gets like the GBA one and all that, the PSP one, yeah. But second one, no, yeah, second one just gets forgotten about. But yeah, on top of that, Metal said it's true too. I was marking out because that means like they obviously haven't. I even said this. I'm gonna admit it. I'm jumping the gun. But I'm pretty sure CVS 3 is getting made. I'm jumping the gun here.
Well, we got Capcom Fighting Collection 2, so that helps. Yep. So yeah.
That's why I'm jumping the gun. I'm just gonna assume and then have my heart broken when they say no.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ah.
But yeah, just thinking about it, how, you know, Terry and Mai are going to be in Street Fighter 6, and with Ken and Chun-Li being in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, yeah, it does leave one to speculate that, you know, CVS 3 has to be in the works. That and SVC Chaos 2 has to be a thing.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll call it that.
I mean,
yeah.
In a perfect world, but I know we do not live in a perfect world.
Of course.
Unless we do. No, we don't.
Starchild says something new.
Stop the presses, then.
Let me take it. Yeah, Fire could be SVC2 and Bag Animation Golden Sun. Starchild said, when they released Lunar Touch a while back, he figured there was actually a pretty good chance that they were going to get at least ports of the original games. He didn't expect a remaster, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, Muteki. Chun-Li and Mai in both Street Fighter and Fatal Fury. Who knew?
It is glorious.
Glorious.
Man, that's been a while since I heard Bobby Roode's theme.
Nah, man, I believe in Joe Hendry.
And now it's all about Joe Hendry.
Hey, man, I believe in him. Do you believe in Joe Hendry? No, I knew it.
I mean, wait, yes, I do.
Nerd Revenge, this is chapter 2 of Chris's story. But, yeah, the reason why we're playing her first over Hugo or even Ghetto is because, or especially Hugo, is because there is an instance that you can do a one-on-one duel if you start off with Chris in Chapter 2 first. Muteki says, and rewatch their shower scenes. Oh,
of course. A staple of fighting game, you know, culture is watching the animated shower scene.
That or he could be referring to Lunar. The first game, at least. So anyways, I can't really think of another topic to think of at this point. I was going to ask Jerry how the whole job training thing was going, since you got started with that, but I think that's a bit more of a personal thing to discuss. Yeah. So, I'll leave it at that.
What I will mention is, hey, you asked me about Metaphor, but what about Ray Natus?
Oh, yes. How is Ray Natus?
How is it? Yeah.
It's obviously like a budget-looking game, but I had fun with it. I like the way it plays, and compared to Metaphor, even if it looks budgety, it at least has a coherent art style that isn't, you know, jarring like the other game.
Cool, cool.
It's just don't expect it to be, you know, super triple. It's definitely not triple, not even double A, but it's all right for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Lieutenant, I heard people say that one was okay. Yeah, on Twitter, I've been. Well, then again, Twitter ain't the best place for anything. But yeah, but I did see them go like, "Oh, I heard this game sucks, man. This game sucks." I'm like, it's all right. You gotta temper your expectations here.
Right, exactly.
Pretty cool to me. I like what it's doing.
Yeah, and
also, yeah,
I was personally on the fence with that game, whether or not if I should pick it up. And now that you mentioned how you saying that the game was okay from what you played, it definitely leaves me with more confidence in wanting to actually pick that game up eventually.
Plus, if you like The World Ends With You and Kingdom Hearts, then I mean, you're gonna at least enjoy some of it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think
one of damn
World Ends
kind
With
of
You,
games.
Freelance devs, but they worked on The World Ends With You.
Uh-huh.
So they worked on that game too, something like that.
And I love both of those IPs.
Came out yesterday, actually. Right at us.
Yeah, it did. It came out the same day as the brand new Zelda game, which I still haven't tried yet. I may have to try that after this stream, because and you know how much that I love to get into Zelda games and all that. Muteki, if you're talking about the new Professor Layton game, they already announced that last year. But they did show off more over at TGS this year, which that happened this week. And speaking of release dates, we finally have a release date for Fantasian Neo Dimension. The game by Sakaguchi that was originally on Apple Arcade.
Yeah,
oh, that's right.
The one I actually did play some when I had an Apple Arcade subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2 seconds. I'm glad it's finally coming to a console. What?
Hell yeah. I was truly all giddy when I heard that announcement. I mean... when I learned about the release date. And now I have all the more reason to pick up a physical copy of that game. And and in case of you guys are wondering whether or not if they'll do a physical run on Lunar Remastered Collection, they probably will, but it will most likely be done through limited run games.
So everybody loses.
Yeah. But hey, if it's the only way to get a physical release at a good price, then, at $35 just for the standard edition, then I'm happy. But I probably would want to splurge more of seeing whatever type of, like, either premium or collector's edition that they have. I probably would have to double or triple dip Lunar Remastered Collection. One for Switch, one for PS5, and one for PC through Steam.
Dang.
I ain't fiddin'.
Ain't fiddin'. To do no biddin'.
Oh, Star Child, how is Rise of the... Oh, did you try out the Rise of Cobra or the Wrath of Cobra, the new G.I. Joe game yet?
Oh yeah, the beat 'em up. That looks kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm. That it's funny to think how a lot of famous 80s properties after TMNT Shredder's Revenge are getting the beat 'em up treatment. First, you got the G.I. Joe game, and now we're getting Toxic Avengers or Toxic Crusaders getting a beat 'em up. It's like, geez, we really are in a renaissance of beat 'em ups in this day and age.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's very true.
And that is a good thing because, like all of us, I was big into beat 'em ups when I grew up.
I just hope it's good.
True.
It doesn't help that I just played through Turtles again as Mondo Gecko, so...
Ah, yes, Mondo Gecko. But in that continuity, he was not part of the Mighty Mutanimals. But I think he was in the Archie comics of TMNT Adventures. But I know he was in the Mighty Mutanimals and other iterations, like the IDW comic, for instance.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Radical.
And funnily enough, I think Robbie Rist also voiced him in that, or no, it was Robbie Rist who voiced him in the 2012 TMNT cartoon, and that's where he was the one who said "Cowabunga" and not the Turtles.
Cowabunga, dude.
Oh yeah, and I forgot. Also, that Karate Kid beat 'em up is also coming out too. That actually looks pretty awesome,
when you forget
too.
about the Karate Kid beat 'em up.
Yeah, that one was definitely under the radar when that got unveiled. And honestly, I think it has more of a chance of being a cult classic, if anything.
Again, if it turns out to be decent, it just might be.
Mm-hmm. Then we also got Rita's Rewind coming out very soon.
Does Rita have some rewind?
Yeah, there's a Karate Kid beat 'em up that's kind of in the vein of Shredder's Revenge. It's coming out. I'm not exactly sure when it comes out, but I'm pretty sure it comes out right before the end of this year, or somewhere within the last quarter of this year. Alex. Oh, it's already out now? Oh, I didn't even know that.
What? Oh, for real?
The Karate Kid beat 'em up. What Muteki said, he says it's released now.
Shoot. Okay.
Dang, I'll have to see how much it is, and if it's at a good price, I may have to pick that up on Switch at least, or PS5. And here I am, needing to watch the other two movies of the Karate Kid trilogy. I saw the first one. First one was phenomenal.
You mean the 4 movies?
Hey, we don't count the next Karate Kid. That's its own thing.
Good sir. Good sir. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We also count Sidekicks as a Karate Kid, even though it was just similar, but not the same thing. But with Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
Oh,
but it was, written and produced by his brother.
And Mako.
Yeah, I
forgot. Yeah, it had Mako.
I forgot about Sidekick.
Jeff Bridges is Mako is in there.
Oh, he's breaking up
there too.
Yes, he is.
Doing some weird age kid, kind of a little problematic. Ah, son of a bitch.
Do you remember the next Karate Kid, Double R?
You mean with Hilary Swank?
Yes.
I haven't.
Yeah, this Machio guy.
But I know he.
Machio guy. He could F off.
This time it's in Boston.
Yeah. And it had nothing to do with Cobra Kai. A completely different story. But yeah, I am aware of its existence.
Or so they say.
Wasn't the best way to end off Pat Morita's run with the series before kicking the bucket within the next decade.
Yeah. Listen, I'm Pat freaking Morita here, man. You know that time he trained the fat one from NSYNC to battle against the Gestalt of the E-Horse?
Muteki says, you mean karate dog.
Sure love your karate dogs.
Another badass animal like that horse who can wield a boomstick. Right, Jerry? You know which cartoon I'm referring to.
Say again?
I said an animal that can do a badass thing, a dog that knows karate, kind of like that horse who can wield a boomstick.
Oh yes, yeah, Brave Star.
Yeah.
I love that opening so much when they look at each other and wink. And that's a pretty
Brave
cool
Star.
Horse. You know,
yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
Since we watched the openings for 80s cartoons, we need to take we need to sit down and watch the openings for 90s cartoons.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, so we should do a tier list or something because, people love lists.
LPH asked, do you guys not like the remake of The Karate Kid where it has Will Smith's kid, Jaden Smith?
Personally, it wasn't my thing, but you know what? I don't hate anybody that likes it. And hey, what the fuck? They're doing a crossover between the two somehow. Yeah. So yeah. So you know what? I'm cool with it. Wasn't my thing, but if people like it, that's fine.
I gotcha.
But do you? Do you really?
Well, yeah, why wouldn't I? Bad Gamer says he's never saw that version. And Starchild says, doesn't he do Kung Fu in the remake? Yes, he does. Because Jackie Chan, yo.
Well, yeah, it's Jackie. We ain't doing Miyagi-Do here, we're doing Kung Fu.
Mm-hmm. You know, if Jaden Smith ends up learning Kung Fu from Jackie Chan, whereas, Ralph Macchio learns karate from Pat Morita as Mr. Miyagi, then
he learns the crazy.
Would the remake of The Karate Kid that has Jaden Smith not be classified as a remake or just a completely reimagined continuity?
I don't know what you would classify that as.
Because each one learns martial arts in a completely different way, or they learn a different form of martial arts, I guess is the terminology I was trying to bring up. But yeah, just like when you compare both those movies, it's like the remake, I really can't justify it being called a quote-unquote remake in that sense.
I agree.
Muteki, if that's the case, then yeah, I would say that would justify it being the 6th movie in that series, but it is what it is. Alright, so we're now getting ready to fight our next war battle, coming up here pretty shortly. And it's a rematch between us and the Lizard Clan, and whatever Grasslands clans that are, participating in the fight. So, most likely we're going to be fighting against the Lizard Clan and the Correa Clan in this upcoming conflict. And just so you know, there is a reward if you actually manage to keep all your units alive during a war conflict, and you actually manage to win the battle. You actually do get an item. Some of them are actually pretty good that you can hold on to. So basically, we have to defeat 5 enemy units, and then we actually win this fight. Muteki says, so are you a true anime fan if you have never seen Gundam?
Debatable. I would say no.
But Starchild says, sure, anime just isn't Gundam. Okay, I will... Whoops. Move. And for you, we'll move over here, and we'll just... I think I may want to bring Chris over to where Roland is. Okay. So yeah, like I said, if we win this fight, then I mean, if we don't lose any of our characters in this fight, then well, our units in this war battle, then we get an item.
Nice.
Yes. Now, interesting thing to know about when you're fighting against enemy units in a war conflict, you don't necessarily have to defeat all the enemies. If you defeat their commander or their leader in that unit, then you actually defeat the unit in full. Yes. Muteki, I haven't seen anything in the retro gaming channel on the Discord server yet. But if you guys want to check it out, whatever it is that he posted, then by all means, check it out. And he says it's your favorite fighting game. Oh, Muteki, how could you? How could you post that god-awful atrocity in that server? Have you no shame? I guess Jerry must be taking care of something on his end. Because he's missing a war fight. And then Muteki says, no worries, gonna be posting that game in SoundOut's Discord. It's his favorite Darkstalkers game. Oh, jeez. Oh, I bet. Ooh. Alright, got one enemy unit down. And Starchild says, the only thing I didn't like about Capcom Fighting Evolution was that it didn't have a lot of characters. Yeah, like every fighting game that was in that game, they only had like 4 or 5 at max.
They had exactly 4 from each, with the exception of Ingrid, who was to that game.
Still, that...
So what was it? Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 3, each had 4. What was it? Darkstalkers got 3, and then, friggin' Red Earth got 4. Which was even weirder, because you would think they would just use the 4 playable characters. But no, they used 2 of them and decide to use the fucking squid and the T-Rex boss. Because whatever.
They're like, why not? Right?
And then, you know, Ingrid, because she was supposed to premiere in a different game that got canceled and basically turned into this. So, yeah.
Uh-huh. And you guys got to remember, that game was a game that Yoshinori Ono produced when he was still at Capcom. Yeah, that was brought out when fighting games were in a dark age at that point. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, let's just say that was during the kind of the dark ages where Capcom had either their fighting, their fighting game team had either been poached or left.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were like, yo, we need to put something out. So let's take all these Capcom properties and shove them into one like big Gigabash or some shit. That should work. Not really. Especially when it was obviously rushed to get something. Sadly, SVC, SNK versus Capcom was kind of a similar thing, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of wound up in a similarly, maligned by many, loved by a few.
I know what you mean. Oh, man, he got rage on him. Roid rage.
I had to get up and go to the bathroom. What happened?
We're in the second war battle of the game.
Which is a very redundant name, but, you know, I'll go with it. You know, a war battle. That's typically what happens.
Well, because there's
war.
three different battle modes in this game.
I know, it's just, I'm just joking how redundant.
I know.
War battle. Exactly. We're in the fist fight, as opposed to
yes.
Your ultimate plan. What part?
Do what?
I'm Taggy. I'm not.
Oh, sorry. It's just take a look at either modern gaming or retro gaming. What Muteki posted in Discord.
Oh.
And he's
retro gaming. He put. Oh. I see Overman posted something about Koreans.
Well, what Muteki posted, he says it's our favorite fighting game. But it's not.
Let's just say
it's not the fighting game you're thinking of.
Not even close. Not. Lee. That's the game, man.
All right, we just scored the major victory in that fight. What are we rewarded for our troubles? Let's see. Oh, we get an evasion ring.
Me after seeing Capcom fighting Evolution.
I have to go now. My planet needs me.
Exactly.
Well, just don't die on the way back to your home planet.
Try not to. Okay, so we won that. Ooh, actually, first, hold on. Let me put that evasion ring on. Actually, this may be more suitable for another character. Now I think about it. Yeah, let's give it to Roland. Give him some evasion. Alright, so we got three regular story fights that we have to go through in order to actually complete this part. But they're easy. They're not war battles. Even though we technically are in a war battle per se, but that's aside the point. Oh, not Percival. Boy, they're really eating him, but yeah, sometimes these enemies, when you fight them in a regular battle, they can hit pretty hard. And that's no crock.
Alright, so what you need to do is just play flawlessly.
Just play absolutely perfectly. And you'll be alright, I think.
Can you say that with confidence, though? Very curious to think about that, eh? Alright. Very good. Excellent. Oh, we get some Mega Medicine D for our troubles.
Star Child mentioned CVS. It's not a bad game, just says we've already played CVS.
Yeah, Muteki, I put on the evasion ring for one of the characters.
You know, I speaking of old JRPGs, I've heard that there's a cave up north blocked by ice. Fire rod.
Don't you mean you need a fire ring?
No, I know what I said. You need a fire rod.
Boy, well, that fire rod's gonna come in handy, that's for sure.
Oh, Star Trek talking about Capcom Fighting Evolution. He was like, it's not really bad, it's sampler. It's. I mean, I had it.
Mm-hmm.
The cool thing was, it was like one of the few other games that had Karin in it. But then Ingrid was in there too, and Japan loves Ingrid for some reason.
They do.
They just like their lollies, don't they? But still, that just seems so weird to include a character like Ingrid in a game like that, you know? I'm not gonna lie, this theme that's playing right now by Michiru Yamane, pretty goated.
I'll tell you this thing about Fighting Evolution. It's not the worst. It's functional.
Yeah.
If you want me to say one nice thing, it's functional. It doesn't. It's not broken. Like, and by broken, I don't mean balancing. I mean like, if the game doesn't fall apart, like Big Rigs. Now that's broken.
Oh yeah. All right. That takes care of that, and now it's time to get in a one-on-one fight. Or a one-on-one duel. It's like all three battle modes are taking place in this conflict. We had the war battle, then we had regular battles. Now we're having a one-on-one duel about to show up.
Friend of the channel, Ethan, is also streaming at this time, and I'm like, I'm only mentioning that because I got Discord pings, and I'm like, what? And I'm like, I see nothing, and I'm like, oh, it was his channel. I'm talking about the lizards. You lizard people aren't using your primal instinct. And they said, is Lucia a lizard lady?
Nope. She's a human. She's just allied with the lizard clan. I mean, she doesn't have scales, does she? And she doesn't have a tail, does she, Muteki? So yeah, this is the only way you can do this one-on-one duel. Because if you play as Hugo first, then this will be completely null if you play Chris afterwards. You call Chris a saucy knight? Damn.
Saucy. Saucy. Don't forget. I have, oh my goodness, it's already about to be 6:30 in my time, and I haven't even... I had this Clip Studio Paint up since like 3, and I haven't done anything. Not even a one mark. Not even one drawing mark. Not even a line. Jeez.
Alright, we won that duel. Muteki says, I saw anime slime and lizards evolve into human-like hybrids, but who knows? Oh, you mean the time I got reincarnated as a slime?
Possibly, right?
Yeah, which is also getting an RPG, believe it or not.
Oh. You know, that actually, you know what? I don't care about that show. A lot of people do. Like, they tell me it's good. I'm not saying it's not good. I just don't care. But, boy... That does make sense for it to be an RPG.
Mm-hmm.
That one absolutely makes sense, to be honest. I'm like, yeah, no, go, make it. Make it. It should have been one already. Yeah, God, I hate web peas.
Muteki says that's the anime RPG he was thinking of. But you know, there are certain animes out there that actually worked well as role-playing games in video games. Like Dragon Ball Z Attack of the Saiyans, which we played a year or two ago. And that's the only one I could think of on the top of my head. But I know there are plenty of other animes that got role-playing game treatment for video games that actually were pretty decent. Like even the Sailor Moon, Another Story, Super Famicom game, that was a JRPG, and that was actually a pretty good one.
Never played that one personally.
It's a lot like, it's definitely a lot like Final Fantasy.
Excuse me.
When it comes to its gameplay.
A lot like the FFs.
Yeah, but it does have a bit of a difficulty curve to it.
I'll bet.
Yeah. When you think you're getting somewhere, the boss you're trying to fight against is just taking a hell of a long time to try to defeat. But, of course, there are some anime and manga that have done well outside of role-playing games, like Berserk. Take a look at Sword of the Berserk on the Dreamcast. That's actually a pretty decent hack-and-slash action game.
I remember that was actually my dad's favorite Dreamcast game.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if that was the inspiration for Devil May Cry, that game.
I don't... Well... I know the first Onimusha came out before the first Devil May Cry, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, it did.
And I remember reading the... I still remember reading that Game Informer years ago, where he mentioned Space Adventure Cobra was an influence, and also mentioned how in Onimusha there was a glitch where you could keep juggling an enemy, and that's what gave them the idea for the combat, at least.
Oh, yeah. No, those are games that we definitely need to play for Geek Fighters, the Onimusha games. Specifically the trilogy. I wouldn't say that Dawn of Dreams is worthwhile playing, because it does take a hell of a long time if you're trying to complete that at 100%. But yeah, those games are fun. I always have a blast going back and playing them every once in a while. Muteki. Or burn it. You mean like a certain Maverick boss in Mega Man X7 who likes to say that word?
Burn it.
Burn! Burn to the ground! Burn!
Burn to the ground! That's like one of the only things I remember about that game.
To the ground!
What Smash Clone RPG are you talking about, Muteki? Or if you want to talk about the Mario Party-esque RPG, then there's always Dokapon Kingdom, and that's actually pretty fun. Although it is a friendship ruiner, much like Mario Party is.
Just like always.
Yes. Yes, they are, Star Child. They are remastering the PS2 and Xbox The Thing, based off the John Carpenter movie.
Oh, believe it or not, they are.
And that was actually a pretty decent survival horror game for being a pseudo remake and pseudo sequel to the 1981 flick. Which I think they actually managed to get the likeliness of some people to reprise their roles as the characters they played as in that movie.
Vaguely. As in, not really, like, the characters are there, but definitely not actor likenesses.
Okay, Muteki, I know what you're talking about. You mean Onimusha Blade Warriors, okay. I have that game, but it's alright for a Smash Brother-esque type of fighting game. Oh dear. Chris passed out. She was going back to Vene del Zexe to talk to the Zexan Council, but then all of a sudden she passed out. I guess the responsibilities of a captain of the Zexan Knights really took a toll on her, and she hasn't really gotten any rest.
I don't know why I thought you were going to say Captain of the Queen's Navy. That's... You know what I'm talking about, Metal?
I do.
The Queen's Navy. That old musical that Sideshow Bob seems to love.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Captain of the Queen's Navy has that famous song.
Yeah.
I think they parodied in Animaniacs.
Yeah, the Pirates of Penzance.
Mm-hmm.
Because, Sideshow Bob loves him some Gilbert and Sullivan.
Gilbert and Sullivan, yeah.
I'd say remember for a second.
That's like one of the really hardest songs to pull off. You have to be really good to master that. You have to have
you mean that one song?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very
Yeah.
That one. That's like the old version of Rap God. Like
Yeah. Is like you cannot even pause certain parts within that song. You have to keep going and going and going. It's like I said, you got to have a lot of breath and can say a lot of words at once. But then again, it makes you wonder how people like Rob Paulson is able to do it flawlessly, especially in Animaniacs when he did the parody of that song and when he did the song that references the countries from around the world.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
That was a fun song. I'm not gonna lie. That
even though he got a lot of them.
Got a lot of them what? Wrong?
Believe it or not, not just speaking geographically, but let's just say there's been quite a few videos over the years going over how that song is incorrect and how Yakko either mentions entire regions as a country or just leaves out countries.
Huh.
Even ones that existed at the time. So, yeah. Not to mention, people have, made him do updates to add in all new countries that have come about since that song.
I love a lot of them edits people do to that, though. Like, ones where he'll skip countries that don't do blank or whatever.
Yeah.
All I can say about that song is just enjoy it for what it was and the time it came out. I I mean, I used to have the cassette tape which pretty much has all the songs during Animaniacs run. And my mom and my sister and I, whenever we go on car trips, we always listen to that tape and sing to the songs in it because they were so catchy. And I think my mom even had one of those Norda tracks when I was younger, and she actually listened to one of the songs, or listened to that tape while working out. And she's, I guess it really, the tunes really made her, happy and joyful too, because of how well written they were and how fun they were for the time. So it's like, man, you cannot evade the appeal of something like Animaniacs. That's for damn sure. And of course, I know that there were other. I know that there were other TV shows and stuff that actually kind of did the same thing. Like I know Sailor Moon had some cassette tapes that came out that were pretty much songs from the first English dub. LPH asks, so what is your best kid song, or what's the best kid song?
Good question.
You think?
Yeah. I will say some clean Kids Bop version of some super ass lewd song. Like the kid, like, yep. Because I know that Kids Bop has done stuff like the radio safe version of WAP and such. So yeah.
Golly. Really?
So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
Jeez.
Damn.
Not to mention when they decide to change lyrics to make it, make the song seem less hardcore.
What's that mean? For kids. Like, yeesh.
LPH says, Pokemon 2, be a master.
Let me see. If you're gonna include those, and I guess Sonic X. Gotta go fast.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna lie, even though I can't stand 4Kids, but at least they did put out a couple of decent kids songs like that and the opening to Pokemon.
And of course, some of those Yu-Gi-Oh songs they had.
Oh yeah, and I remember that Little Karibo actually did a Beavis and Butthead parody with Rex Raptor and
Weevil.
Dweevil. Yeah.
Weevil.
Yeah, commenting on the soundtrack.
This song sucks.
Is that Kaiba? I think so.
Golly. A little too accurate, I'm gonna have to...
Yeah! Oh, LPH, good point. Rock the Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
Dragon. Rock the Dragon. Zed, oh boy. Well, you do... What was it? You have very strong British ties, don't you? I forgot.
Yes. Dragon Ball Z.
Because they're the ones that say Zed.
Yes, they do.
But do you say H as H? I guess not. Metal.
Oh.
You don't say H, do you?
H? No, I don't.
H.
Triple H.
I guess You Got the Touch by Stan Bush is probably another one of those songs that comes to mind.
In a way.
Yeah. But then again, it's a song from the movie soundtrack, so I'm not sure whether or not if that would count. Muteki says, Dragon Tales Between the Lions.
Dragon Tales, Dragon. Something about Dragon Tales.
Oh, but of course we can't go wrong with the DuckTales theme.
Woohoo!
Yeah, that's like one of the ultimate kid songs back when growing up. And of course, the 87 Ninja Turtles cartoon, its opening theme song.
Did just count it off. Oh wait, different one.
Different era.
Slightly.
Right property, different era.
Yeah, just a smidgen. Just a smidgen later.
Wait, the DC animated universe had unless if you're talking about like vocal songs, but yeah, most of the music from the DC animated universe, they're pretty good.
DMX Reading Rainbow. Dark Television. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of PBS, can't forget Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, the acapella.
Excuse me. You know what's funny about that? Me finding out how evil Carmen Sandiego is outside of that cartoon and that game show. Well, no, the game show still kept her pretty, like, villainous, but not super evil. But the game version of her, the original games, yo, I don't. The shows are like, oh no, she's actually like secret double. She's not really evil. Like, oh man, don't you know? Like she's cool and all, and you know, she's hot, right? So she can't be evil. But the game version, no, man, she's got to be put down. The video game version of Carmen Sandiego is like, what if Beerus just didn't care anymore? Like, I don't mean like she has, but she apparently tried to do something that could destroy the whole universe, basically, like steal like time or something weird like that. She wants it like, bro, she needs to be put down.
Damn, that's savage.
Carmen Sandiego needs to be put down. No, no, ain't no. Oh, she might nah.
No, there's no redemption. There's no redemption for her in the game. The games. The games.
She's just a thief. Just a dirty thief.
Not to mention, in those games, it's really damn hard to find Carmen Sandiego. You have to be masterful at it.
Well, yeah, because she's literally always the last one you go after you capture all her other brodies.
Mm-hmm.
And then she gets sent to hyper jail where she's, you know, virtually, you know, GR'd by 80 dicked demons. I don't know.
Now, did Angelina Jolie make her character have redemption like most other media, or did they make her evil in the movie?
I don't remember.
Because the cartoon really was weird how they portrayed her character, being more along the lines of, even though she started off as evil as first, but became more of an anti-hero as the show progressed. Or I should say neutral in that context.
Possibly.
I mean, what could possibly go wrong?
Possibly.
Possibly you go wrong.
First thing that's ever gone wrong. And that's how you know that was foreshadowing.
That's true.
Teen Titans 03, yeah, the Puffy Amiyumi, what LPH put, yeah. Teen Titans.
Yeah.
I heard those Teen Titans pushed Batman.
I hear they're like
to get killed.
I hear they're all about going and doing short form random access humor.
Because when I think of DC superheroes, I think of them not trying to do their jobs at all.
Hey man, we did get the epic, you know, waffles.
Yeah, exactly.
Got to hear about waffles, man.
I'm making waffles.
But we did also get Night Begins to Shine, so.
True.
Shine. Do. Copyright.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, don't go too far on that. So yeah, for the rest of this stream, we'll just pretty much try to defeat this treasure boss, and then after that, we'll wrap up this episode.
Get to know.
Yeah. LPH says Teen Titans 03 theme. Oh, OG Teen Titans cartoon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, the Puffy Amiyumi.
Yeah. And he also said that SpongeBob also got some good songs. I will admit, I was never big into SpongeBob when growing up, but at least I can admit that the songs were actually pretty goated at times. Yeah, let's go Berserk mode, Chris.
Berserkin moded!
But I'll tell you, one of the more underrated, one of the songs from a cartoon that actually got extremely underrated for having a catchy-ass theme song was the Bucky O'Hare cartoon. That theme song kicked so much ass. It was truly goated.
Indeed it was. Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yes. Even Metal knows what I'm talking about.
And then, well, yeah, I remember watching the show, so yes.
Yeah.
And being very, very pissed when my parents couldn't get me some Toad Fighters.
Aw, that sucks.
Or the righteous indignation.
I know for me it's nothing to do with Bucky O'Hare, but
oh no, I know.
Man, I couldn't get Turbo Megazord.
Oh.
And those things still ain't cheap. You just gotta spin out.
LPH says that most kids' songs during the 2000s are hidden gems.
Yeah.
Oh, finally.
Like, what was it? Like what was it? Like we were surprised to find that, what was it, one of the most streamed anime.
Oh, breaking up again.
Drop.
Songs ever is the for Pokemon.
Oh boy.
Bot opening.
I'm about to say, Metal, you probably
might
want to jump out of the call and jump back in because
I was just going to say. Wi-Fi seems to be.
Yeah, his Wi-Fi is...
Hello there. I'll Wi-Fi your warriors.
Okay.
Is this Wi-Fi enough for your warriors?
Well, let me tell you, Metal.
There's no change in the plan.
Exactly. Let me tell you, exactly.
I would play that one, but I think that one, since it's a clip from a song, that one...
Yeah, it would get us.
Because I think that happened last time. I did that, and I was like, why was part of my stream muted? I was like, oh, I think I played that soundbite from that.
Yeah, I think you did.
Like, Cypress Hill probably was like, hey, you can't do that. Where's Cypress Hill? You can't do that.
No way.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Cypress Hill?
Muteki says, the hurricane in Canada must be messing with his Wi-Fi.
Ain't got no canes.
all you have are bull elk and bears.
Mm-hmm.
Bears.
Those are his
Davy Crockett.
Those are his dangerous weather patterns aside from snowstorms. Remember, if it's 0 degrees outside, you say there's no temperature outside.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Double R, what's the temperature outside? There's not one. This place doesn't even seem to have a temperature. So yeah, October is coming up this week.
It is?
Yes, it is. This Tuesday. And good timing, too, since, you know, we got a pretty decent game that's launching, which we already talked about.
And diddle.
Well, that, and also the week after that, that's when Super Mario Party Jamboree releases.
Jambo.
Yes.
That should be an interesting one.
I mean, playing 20 players at once online, that's gonna be nuts.
Jesus, yeah. That is truly gonna be absolute insanity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're gonna just make a. We're just gonna go over down to Vinay Zek. I mean, not Vinay Zek, but Brass Castle to save our progress. But I will be going over to the Bujutsu teacher or whatever inside of Brass Castle to actually increase our skills a little bit. But while we're doing that, I guess it's a good time to go ahead and start plugging since we're near the end of this stream for today. So since Metal went first last time, it is my turn to go first. So now I'm not going to be able to put the links in the chat since I'm way too busy doing this. But anyways, you guys can find me on both YouTube and Twitch at Double RPG Reviews. YouTube is my bread and butter when it comes to content, whereas Twitch is secondary as I stream on there mostly. Haven't really done much in terms of putting out new content on both platforms in a while. I do want to get back to that eventually, but I'm just kind of on my down period at this time with not doing much, but hopefully we'll get back to, you know, getting some interest in doing some content again, but We'll have to wait and find out. But in order to find out, that's where you follow me on social media, on both Facebook and Twitter, at Double RPG Reviews. And that's it, I guess.
Excellent. Oh, Lord.
All right. What do you got at Plug Metal?
Well, as for me, just myself at Visible Ninja 00 on X, and really check out Hero Club for Life across Twitch, where we share news and more. So check it out.
Okay. And Fighter Cows?
Hey, if you haven't already, go to twitch.tv/fightercows. It's right there. I put the Discord link in the chat too, so if you click my name and hit follow, you'll see me stream Tuesdays and Fridays at 4 p.m. Eastern. And also search that same name on social media, Twitter/X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Or other places. I don't even know, because I'm like ubiquitous, I think. I'm like everywhere. But check for me, because I do art and webcomics as well, and I would like to do Fate stuff, but Fate has some weird stuff going on about putting stuff on YouTube, so I don't know now.
Ooh.
Yeah, so Sony's got some weird policies now about Fate on YouTube, and I'm like, It has to do with them not wanting spoiler posts, and I'm like, come on.
Yeah, not cool, dude. Not cool. Well,
especially since I'm ahead of where they said they don't want to spoil. I'm like, oh.
Mm-hmm. Did you have anything else you need to plug?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, anyway, guys, be sure to join us next week as we go into episode 7 of our live stream series on Suikoden 3. And we're going to continue where we left off with finishing up Chapter 2 as Chris, and then we will get on Chapter 2 as Hugo. So, yes, we're going to see the return of Sergeant Joe next week.
Yay!
Yeah. So, if you're waiting for that nice, fine, lovely Sergeant to come back where he has his beady little eyes and doesn't fuck around, don't worry. He'll be back next week.
Excellent.
Yes. So anyway, guys, we all hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend, and until then, we will see you next week. So, to sign off, I'm Double RPG.
I'm Visible Ninja.
I'm Fighter Cows.
And Fighter Cows, my friend, you got 2 words left to end off this stream, and those words are...